What's up, students? So excited to see you. I cannot believe that we're already in the middle of week 2 of distance learning. I have been excited to get into your classrooms, to see you engage in the learning process. And I want to come to you today and do a couple different activities with you. The first one is I want you to look around. Look around wherever your learning environment is and make sure that there's two things. I want to make sure that you have all your materials and you're seated up straight or standing up straight and there's no distractions, because I need you to make sure that you're following directions of your teachers, make sure you're following directions of your peers, and you're engaged with learning. So if you can do that, I know I will be proud, your teacher will be proud, and that is how you fly the Hawk Way. Now I want to share a book with you all called The Invisible Boy. And I'm going to go ahead and read this book to you all. I want you to think about the message. I want you to think about it. What does this book actually mean? And how can I help other people around me? So, The Invisible Boy by Trudy Ludwig. Can you see Brian, the invisible boy? Even Miss Carlotti has trouble noticing him in her classroom. She's too busy dealing with Nathan and Sophie. Nathan has problems with Miss Carlotti calls volume control. He uses his outside voice inside too much. Sophie whines and complains when she doesn't get her way. Nathan and Sophie take up a lot of space. Brian doesn't. When the bell rings for recess, Micah and JT take turns choosing kids for their kickball teams. The best players get picked first, then the best friends of the best players, then the friends of the best friends. Only Brian is left, still waiting and hoping. JT glances in Brian's direction and just as quickly looks away. We've got enough players for each team, he tells the others. Let's play ball. In the cafeteria, Madison and her friends talk about her birthday party. The rope swing over the pool was awesome, says JT. Yeah, so was the water slide, adds Fiona. That was the best pool party ever. I'm so glad you guys had fun, says Madison. Everybody did except Brian. He wasn't invited. At choosing time, while the other kids play board games and read, Brian sits at his table doing what he loves to do best. He draws fire-breathing dragons scaling tall buildings, space aliens locked in intergalactic battles, greedy pirates digging for treasure, and superheroes with the power to make friends wherever they go. On Monday morning, Mrs. Carlotti introduces Justin, a new student to the class. Brian smiles shyly at him. Some of the other kids sneak looks at Justin, trying to figure out if he's cool enough to be their friend. They haven't quite made up their minds yet. At lunch, Madison and JT watch Justin eat with chopsticks. What's that? Asks Madison as she points at Justin's food. It's bulgogi. But what? Bulgogi. It's Korean's barbecued beef. My grandma made it for me. It's really good. Do you want to try some? There's no way I'd eat bulgogi. And the kids laugh. All of them, that is, except Brian. He sits there wondering which is worse, being laughed at or feeling invisible. The next day, when Justin goes to his cubby to put away his backpack, he notices a piece of paper with his name on it. Justin, I thought the bulgogi looked good. From Brian. Yum. At morning recess, Brian finds a piece of chalk on the ground and starts drawing away. You are right, Brian. Yeah, thanks for the note. Hey, Justin, Amelia calls out from the tetherball court. You're up next. Sorry, I gotta go, says Justin. By the way, That's a really cool drawing, he adds before taking off. Back in class, Miss Carlotti asked the kids to team up in twos or threes for a special project. The kids scurry around the room to pair off. Brian heads towards Justin. I'm already with Justin, says Amelia. Find somebody else. Brian looks at the floor, wishing he could draw a hole right there to swallow him up. Mrs. Carlotti said we can have up to 3 people in our group. We're only 2. Come on, Amelia, let him work with us. Okay, I guess. Miss Carlotti gives the class directions for the project. Your assignment is to work together to write a story about what you see in the photograph. Use your imagination and have fun. Whoa, cool, says Emilio. What kind of people do you think would live in houses like that? I don't know, but I bet Brian could draw them to go with our story, says Justin. Brian smiles as he takes out his lucky pen. The crooked story we made up on the Spocks. It's lunchtime again. Brian leaves favorite part of the day. Least favorite part of the day. Another 20 long minutes of kids talking and laughing with everyone else but him. Brian, he hears someone shout, "Hey, Brian, over here!" Brian turns and sees Justin waving him over. Emilio nods at Brian and he makes room for him at the table. Cookie? Thanks. Maybe Brian's not so invisible after all. The end. So remember, none of us are invisible. We all want people to acknowledge us. And think about how you can acknowledge others in your classroom, on Zoom, through distance learning. I know it's not the same as being here at school, but remember, I care about you and I want to see you successful and I want to see you succeed. And together we can make this happen. Together we can be there for each other. Remember to fly the Hawk way and have a great day.